All right, Frank, you just passed the PMP a little while ago. How did it go, man?
Oh man, it was great. It was the way Salvador explained it to me in your philosophy, your videos, and your book. What Salvador told me to do, start reading your book. Your book is actually broke it down where I say a 10-year-old child can understand it. That's how great it was.
Awesome.
I followed your process to the T's.
Yep.
And took your simulation quizzes. Oh my gosh, that's what helped me. I started the first time, took some of them. I hit the 70 mark.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I stopped following your step. I said, okay, I need to take a break.
Yeah.
Time out. I need to follow your logic system. Read the last part, understand the question, and then find out where am I in the process.
Yeah.
And by me knowing where I'm at in the process, the answers is just popped up in my face. Wow. I can look at it, the answer, the first, like you read the first answers and said, oh, no, it doesn't make sense. I'm not there. And you follow it and you eliminate it, all those correct answer, but it's not in the right process.
Yeah.
And I can find the correct answer. So in your simulation, actually your quizzes is harder than the test itself.
Oh, damn.
All right. Yeah. When I took the test, this has been my third try.
Right.
And I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was taking my time. The first 90 minutes of the test, and almost 100, I was almost to the 100 question when my break hit. And it was like the answer popping up in my face. I was flying. I have 125 minutes left.
Yeah.
So I went, took my 10-minute break, and I said, all right, I'm going to do this. Then the whole test changed philosophy, changed to be so hard.
Okay.
And I love math. So I was looking for my math questions.
Yeah.
I only got one.
Oh,
I was like, come on, man. I love my EBM. This is where I'm at, my EMV. These are the one I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I only had one.
Yeah.
Had a lot of situational questions, a lot of, what do you call them? Change order. That's a lot of change orders. But you gotta watch out, because the change order, it tells you there one of the answers, but really it's not the answer. Because it's want to know if you really understand the question, and you have to understand it. And you can't do a change order in initiation.
Yeah, you gotta know where you are, right?
Exactly. Because if you read the question and you know where you're at, automatically a change order.
Yeah.
And have that answer. And I said, wait a minute, where am I? So I go back and read the question, and they start getting long questions where you have to really read. Too many noise. They're having too many noise. Doesn't make sense where you're at, but you got to understand what they're looking for. And by me understanding it and followed your step, this is what the key point a lot of people don't understand. Your process of your step to read the question and understand it, nobody else teaches it. I've been in 3 different classes. In 2012, I took a boot camp, PMP boot camp.
Yeah.
That was the worst and the waste money I ever threw away.
Yeah.
It was way too expensive. It's thrown away. That 7-day boot camp I took, all they're doing is telling you memorize the PMP. You can't memorize the PMP. If you don't understand it, how the process go, the way you teach it, and the flow of the PMP, you'll never pass. And I failed. I failed. So I stopped. I took another class in 2014, another boot camp, and it was the same company. They gave me a discount, told me, okay, we'll help you. And I said, all right, we'll do it. Same teacher. The first thing they tell you, memorize the data dump. You have to know the data dump. Well, you know what? I can memorize the data dump. But if I don't know the process, how it works and the flows, you're lost. You're
True.
sitting in there looking at the question, where am I starting at? Especially to calculate your critical path. If I don't know the process the way you taught it,
Mm-hmm.
I would have 5-10 minutes in the question drawing and doing all this. I followed your process, how the critical path works. I was like looking at it, didn't even use the paper that much for it. I looked at it, said, oh, okay, boom, 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 A, B, C, D, E, F. This is my critical path. And I'm looking as the answer just pops up. Did I get it correct? 99%? I think so.
That's awesome.
Because I knew which answers I answered correctly because I followed your process.
That's awesome, man.
I eliminated all these answers. So the only answer is correct. Some of them, I knew the answer, but the answer is not there. And they made it a long answer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I didn't analyze the answer, but my clock started ticking.
Yeah.
My last 50 questions, I had 38 minutes left.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I said, okay, I gotta be in gear now. Come on. I can't run out of time. I have 10 questions left.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I start speeding up, analyzing the question as fast as I can. And I think it was one of the area it says I need improvement in it because I was not analyzing the questions and just going fast on it. I used the last second.
Yeah. That's good. Well, you did great though. I mean,
I did.
You did great. So you kind of like, you've been through a lot. You did multiple boot camps. You have this perspective now. What's the biggest mistake that students can make when they go at this thing?
Memorizing and not understanding the logic. Forget the data dump. Doing the data dump and memorizing just looking at it and memorize the steps and not understanding how they flow. What is the output? What's the input? Basically, you go backward. Mm-hmm. In your eros, you go backward. Nobody teach you the backward philosophy. Everybody say, oh, here's your input. You got to memorize this, but you don't understand. Why do you need the input to get with the output? So by you reversing it, saying, here's my output. Mm-hmm. And in order for me to know how to get to this output, I need all these items to go in it. But how do we do it? Nobody tell you the how. Everybody teaches you, oh, here's output, here's the input, and this is in the middle. We don't know what it is. I never knew the middle was actually the how, the process, how to get to it until you taught your class.
Nice.
And especially when I was watching your videos, oh my gosh. It's like me talking to you one-on-one. You actually almost interact with me. Even though it's a recorded, this is how engaged I was with your videos, your 7-day accelerators. To me, I was engaged in the 7-day accelerator, but I learned more on the slower process. And that's
like going through it in detail, right? Like, sorry, the kid just walked in, but like, but yeah, like that's what I realized when you're going through it, like to get you to talk through it and get you to logic through it. So I love what you said about like understanding why and all those things, like not memorizing and really kind of getting in there. Now, the first time you started to do that, what was it like? Was it scary, confusing, enlightening? Like when you flipped your brain, what was that like?
Well, the first time I took your class, 7 days, I really didn't follow your process. Mm-hmm. Be honest with you, I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
I just went through it, watched your videos, took 50 questions, and skipped some of your suggestions to go to listen to the other guy, to the other team, the 50, I forgot the name of it.
Like the other videos where I'm breaking question down and doing all those things, working with those students, stuff like that. Yeah.
I skipped that. I said, oh, I don't need that. I just watch his videos. He has success. I'm going to learn it.
Yeah.
And I really wasn't engaged to your coaching classes. Mm-hmm. I just go there, listen, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I got time. I got to study. I don't have time for it. Yeah. And answer a couple of questions, but don't listen to the other students. Yeah. I was actually doing something else. Not really 100%. I didn't put my 100% to your coaching classes and listen to it until my second time. Okay. The second time I took it, when I took your class again, I did a little bit better.
Yeah.
I actually did the process flow, but what mistake I didn't listen to you and your advice and do not memorize.
Yeah.
So I did the memory.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, this is the arrow. Okay, this one comes from here. And it was so much. And I overstudied in my second time. I did not take a break. The day before the class, here I am taking all these quizzes. The morning of the class, I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning, reading the books, and just started throw all this information in my brain. Yeah. And when I took the test, I missed it by 1 point. Yeah. Like literally 1 point. Yeah. It was right there in the line. I had to actually zoom in there to see where I'm at. And I did an analysis when they give you a breakdown where you missed and where you're weak. So literally, when I took all the analysis I created, it turned out to be by 1 point or 1%. Wow. So, but Salvador put me in a program, and he said, "That's what I want you to do. We're gonna put you on a 30-day timeline, and you're gonna go step by step. Today, you're gonna do this. The next day, you're gonna be in this." And actually, he done it by a week. Yep. We took it in 5 weeks. I'm sorry, it was 5 weeks. Yep. And but he is super. So like what you're describing is like there's two types of coaching. There's one coaching that people get with like me or a person like me. We're breaking down hard questions every week where you were talking about like, hey, I need to be engaged and talk through it and learn. Then there's that accountability coaching where Salvatore's like, or a person like Salvador is like, hey, here's your plan. Like you got to push through, and then here's how we're going to tweak it for your brain. Right. Correct. Yeah. And that's what he did. And his success rate and the way he teaches, when we take his hard questions, he don't want you to answer the questions. Yeah. He wants you to teach it to him. Yes. What you understand. And that's a different philosophy. That's what I learned from Salvador. Okay, I need to teach somebody the question, how to answer the questions. Yes. And that made a big difference. So I started analyzing it. Every question I take, I need to know where I'm at, how to answer the question before I'm looking at it. And I need to answer the question before I look at the answers. So let's pause on that for a second. Yeah. So you're tell me what that means. Like what are you doing before you look at the answers? Because everybody runs through the answers and tries to pick the right one when that's really the wrong perspective. They're cheating themselves. So talk to me about like what you meant when you just said that. Well, when I read the back of the questions, it's what should a project manager do? Yep. Or what is going to project manager do next, for example, one of those. And then I read the question on top and I read the whole question. I pause. I don't look for the answers. I start analyzing, okay, what is the possibility is that question he was looking for? And I answered that question. I said, I am initiation. So the only way, what I should do next after, let's say, for example, we're ready to start a project, and they gave us the benefit analysis. I'm reading that, and one of the questions tells you if you're ready to start your charter and you notice the project is not beneficial, what should the project manager do next? Well, you need to do an analysis. Yeah, you need to find out you got to do the process. Hey, if this is not going to be a profitable for our business, for my project, what's next to do? First, you got to talk to the sponsor. Yeah. And talk to the team. Analyze it. What is the benefit? And then you start so you know your answers here. We need these two questions. These are going to be the perfect answer. And what you're doing is like, so even before you get to A through D, you are logicking like, this is where we are. You're putting yourself in. This is what we're experiencing. And this is what they're asking us. Like, what do we do next? Exactly. What do we screw up or whatever? And then because the thing I get, and I'll ask you this in a second, whether you think that this is right or not, but like, is that people say, well, this is nothing like my normal life. This is whatever, like outside. But what I heard from you is that you're bringing in, okay, this is what I think we should do. Exactly. I'm bringing in, I put an example of my own experience as a project manager or what I do. I put an actual example in real life. Yes. If this happened to me, what I would do. And that's how I do. You got to put it this perspective, or you're not going to know the answer. Because you gotta put it in something you ever do every day. You're good at. Yep. So if you're a programmer, do it as a programming. Don't go say construction, because you're not going to know what's the process in construction. If you work in the field in construction, automatically put it in construction perspective.
Put it in that lens. Yeah. And then see what this is what I would do. And
Correct.
so, yeah. And so when you do that, like once you frame it up. So what if I'm sure there were times where you put an answer out there in your own head. I think we should do this. And then you started reading through there. What are you doing? You looking for the exact thing that matches, or what do you do when you go back and read the answer?
I'm looking at something as close what I think it should be.
Okay.
Not matches, because not the person who wrote the test probably was looking at an IT section or looking at something else. You don't know. So I'll look at something similar what I'm thinking that should be the answer. Like, for example, if I'm thinking it have to go to the sponsor, that should be your answer anyway. It's not going to be somewhere else.
Right.
But if, let's say, for example, talk to the team, which team?
Yeah.
Which stakeholders?
Yeah.
So you got to look at it this way. The team is your stakeholders. So you got to look at it that way. And that's when I start looking. I said, oh, here's the answer. It's a logical answer.
And you evaluate each one.
Correct.
Yeah.
I evaluate. Yeah. You don't want to skip it. You don't want to automatically say, unless you see it and said, oh, that doesn't make sense. I highlight it. I stop it. I strike it. I love the strike line because it helped me eliminate it. It doesn't let me look at it again. I knew I striked it. I don't need to waste my minutes.
Right. And so did you find it difficult, or, I mean, you found it helpful, like in the practicing in the Salvador and coaching sessions and stuff, where you're like, I'm going to, like, it's really, really great that Salvador does that. And that's like the mantra that I try to push through the coaches, to say, like, we don't care if you get the right answer. We care about how you got the right answer and what your logic is. Because you got a 1 in 4 chance of getting the right answer if you don't know English. Like, you know, and so how was it logicking through it? Like, did you find it difficult? Did you find it helpful? Why was it helpful? Like,
I found it very helpful. The way Salvador helped me, and you actually, when me and you did a couple of classes together, and the way you taught us to analyze the question, it was very helpful to find the correct answer. It was like it pops in your face. You don't have to think about it no more. You don't have to waste time to analyze the question, see if it's tricky or not. And it turned out to be, the first time I took the test, I thought PMI want to trick you. Nothing but trick questions. I thought everything they ask for is not in the real world. It's all like imaginary, the perfect scenario. That was my old time philosophy. But when I start working with you and Salvador, it changed. I'm now analyzing it to the situational question and make it in a logical pattern. And it turned out to be, it is a real life. It is something that you see every day. It just, a good PM should catch it.
Very true. Yeah. That's so beautiful. And I think the thing that when people take that natural reaction, oh, this is nothing like life. If they took a step back and they said, maybe I don't understand the approaches, the philosophies, the foundations, the basis of knowledge well enough to be flexible and understand how it applies. I think if they took that angle in a humble sense, they would say, you know what? The problem is me, not the question.
Exactly. It is. It's 100%, because when I've done it in the past, I took it multiple times. I wasn't looking at it me. I was just reading the question, didn't care about where I'm at, just reading and confusing myself because you don't know what you're looking at. So if you start putting it in your own life experience and just pause and do not rush, because rushing, you'll fail automatically. If you're sitting in there, you want to beat the clock and you keep looking at the clock every 5 seconds, well, the time you took it out of your eyes from the question and looking at the clock and going back, you lost 30 seconds. Because your brain, you're wasting your time. Just automatically understand that you need to understand the questions, and it will fly. The time will fly away so fast. You know where you're at, and you're almost away done with the question. The only reason I actually lost time, I got tired.
Yeah, and that's a reality of it. I mean, we just have to manage ourselves, because it is a 4-hour march through this stuff, and but the discipline that you use in studying and on the exam, I think prepares not just to be successful in the exam, but it's forcing you. That's the whole goal that we're trying to do. Is think about your real life. Think about how you're working your project. Think about what, like, how can we make it better for you and the world and the company when you go back?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That's the main thing I got from PMP and from your class. I actually, the way I start learning how to slow down and understand everything, it changed the way I do at work too. Wow. It's like now my boss actually start noticing my work ethics changed.
Oh.
And I get promotion out of it. Believe it or not, I get more work. I don't want to, but hey, and more responsibility because I start managing my time the way I start doing my work. When I was studying from the PMP, I changed it totally. I done a 180-degree turn. I said, okay, no more rushing, no more quick answer an email without analyzing their question.
Yeah.
And it made a big difference. I start, analyzing my real life and logically understand where am I and what should I do next.
Nice.
In every process. And I think that to you and Salvador, your class actually taught me how to slow down, take a breather. And you always say that in your simulation, not in your classes.
Video. Yeah.
The videos say, hey, take a breath, go back, relax, and understand where you're at. That awesome. Makes a big difference.
That does. And I'm so glad that it had a big impact on your life. And like, I think like, yeah, like from the training perspective, just to like let you a little bit inside of like, first of all, I can't really read that well, like, and I can't like on a script. And so I made a decision to be like, hey, I'm just gonna have a conversation with Frank. Like I'm always like to another person, and we're just gonna talk through the content. And like a lot of those times in there where I'm like, at this point in a normal conversation, I would ask them like, please explain this to me, or what do you understand about this, or put this in your own words. And I was like, well, shoot, like, I'll just do it now. And I was like, oh, hey, okay, stop, explain this, work it through. So when you went through the videos and like I stopped and it's kind of weird from like, I like pause and be like,
I know.
And it's like a little weird, but.
Well, at the beginning, it started weird, but when I start understanding why you're doing it, it made a lot of sense to me. I start getting engaged with you in a video. I'm not longer, I'm saying, okay, I'm listening, I'm bored, like everybody. And the way your energy in that class, in that video, you make me want to jump with you. I mean, you're literally holding my hand the whole way. That was the best part of your classes, is holding my hand. It's like something I've never seen before. It's like I'm trying to get my lead certification. I wish you couldn't do a lead certification. The videos they teach us is like reading off the book. Literally, I took the class from the lead certification, and I'm listening, and I said, let me look at the book. Literally, they're reading word by word on the book. So this is not really, you're not engaging me. I'm not learning from you. I'm not listening to the word doesn't mean anything unless you're engaging me, because I can listen to the word. Does it mean I'm going to know what you're saying? No, because my mind actually shuts down. Your mind shuts. To me, personally, I shut down after 5 minutes. Your voice, your volume is the same.
Right.
I'm going to shut
honestly,
down.
like from a learner perspective, because I'm not a trainer, it's not about me. And I think the biggest thing is I'm just a guy that's trying to get across to people and explain stuff that I'm excited about, and they are too. It's like Frank has an opportunity. The student has an opportunity that, we can go on the journey together and get this PMP, get better at our jobs, do this stuff, and like not come home whipped and beaten down and worried and stressed and stuff. And it's like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get better at that, instead of like, let me get through this, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Like,
and that's all they do.
Like
a lot of actually boot camps people, that's all they do, read from the book. And reading the PMP, I'll tell you what, I read the PMP, not once, not twice, 5 times.
Yeah.
I read it. Do you, about 6 months ago, if you asked me what's in it, I'll look at you and say, I have no idea. I read it. Does it mean I got what they're saying? No, it's like me reading Chinese.
Yeah.
That 90% of the time when I was reading the PMP, I was falling asleep.
Yeah, you don't get it. Like, it's like one of the examples, like when you're driving and you're like, I just got someplace and I have no idea how I got there.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, at least you get to a destination in the car, dangerous as it seems. But like when you're reading through, and believe me, I know my PMBOK is up on the shelf over there.
I'm using it as a weight paper.
Well, so like you've had the feeling of like the turnaround to be like, hey, the PMP brought me understanding about situational stuff and forced me to think through it. The PMBOK as well did that, because I was like, oh, this is cool that they got this down there that we can work off of. Cool. Now, if we need to, we can reference back into it. But the real thing
It's a reference book.
Yeah, it's a reference book, and you really only need it like once in a while.
Yep.
Like
you need it for something like, oh, I know this somewhere. I need to reference it to it. So you can open your PMBOK. Oh, that makes sense. That's where it needs to go. That's where the process. But the PMBOK doesn't teach you the flow. Like I never knew before your class, like monitor and control it. To me, is monitor and control is like step number 4. Yeah. Before closing, but it's really in reality, it's not. It's a circle. It's a nonstop process. It starts from planning, because you still got to monitor and control your planning, some of the stuff, because you got to make sure your plan is correct.
Dude. So like, yeah, like first of all, if you study it by knowledge areas, there's zero chance to get that. Well, there is one. If I was forced to do it, we could do it. But really what it does with the monitoring controlling is that if taught the right way, it's very simple. And what you said is great. It's that we appreciate that we are fallible as human beings.
Correct.
That our plans are not perfect. And that day one, when we go into battle, we're going to be challenged. And a lot of the stuff's going to work and a lot of the stuff's not. So let's set up the conditions where we're going to humbly look at ourselves and say what's working and what's not working, and let's go back and fix it. Let's go back and fix it. And so if we're doing that all the time, boom, we're set up for success. And it's not just like, okay, now we do that at the end. No, the game, you've already lost the game.
Exactly. It is.
Already lost the game.
It is. And that's what happened. And that's how I understood it. And basically when I used to do, create your project plans.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, that's the first thing you do in planning, correct?
Yeah.
The PMBOK doesn't tell you need all the other stuff to get your project plan. It does not. It just says, oh, here it is. That's what you need with it. And other document. But what is the other document? Your process, the how, and in your philosophy, it taught me, said, oh, this is the how you get to this project plan. Yeah. You have to get all this from the top, bottom, to put them to make it one plan. And believe a lot of these questions in the test. Yeah. And if you don't understand it, you failed.
Yeah. That's the sad part. And the thing that is so crazy is like everybody works with the same starting book, right? Yep. Like the PMBOK, it's all the same stuff. And it's like, what are the paths to help people understand? And I think it's just like how we organize the material and how we think about it the right way, because you can go a very terrible path down there and make it really long, or you can take a really like, first of all, I think the first perspective is you're already pretty darn good at what you do. Right. And then the second step is, but I'm not as good as I could be. And once you have those two things, you go, it's a microcosm of the PMBOK. You go like planning, monitoring, executing, monitoring, controlling. The same thing is I'm good. I want to be better. What's it in between? Like, how do I keep going through it? Like,
it's a circle. You gotta, it's not nonstop. Yeah. You just have to keep going. You're always doing the planning, even if you're executing, because you got to plan for what happened next. Yeah. What happened next? You can't just stop and say, oh, I'm done with planning. No, you're not. You're not done with planning. You're still going to do it. And even if you're executing, it's different thing, different way, but you still got to plan for it. You can't just say, oh, there's a change order. Okay, I got a change order, but you still got to plan for it. You got to analyze it. You got to understand it, and then come up with an answer to the shareholder to get it approved. You can't just go ahead and say, oh, we're done. We're executing. We're not doing any planning. No. Yeah. And that's one of the cool things. And like all of this stuff leads back to, how deep you go into your projects and how you're engaging with people. Cause like the decision that we made at the company, or my company, as I built it up from one man to like what we are now, is that we are going to go deep with the students and let them do a lot of the teaching too. Once we got teaching going one way, but we're going to force them to teach back in a positive way through the coaching and do that stuff. I think that's the best way. I mean, I've been with Salvador he's my, my third coach.
Yeah.
Melissa is great.
Yeah.
And she's a student. She really did great. But and I start engaging with Melissa, tell her, hey, well, let's change it a little bit. Make sure the student is more engaged. I'm learning from Salvador, and she loved it. She would say, oh my gosh, I didn't know. I said, yeah, engage in us. Don't let us just answer the question, because the chances are I guessed it. And and then that's the way, like, so what you're dealing with, and like on these interviews and calls, like we are 100% transparent, like in everything. And what I don't think happens, I know doesn't happen in these other programs. And the reason why they have horrendous pass rates is because they're never improving and they're never dealing with like the realities of whatever. So with you saying that, and like, we're all improving, like, hey, we can do this better. We can do this better. And like all the tweaking. Oh, I see it all the time. Because when I first started with you, 6 months ago, your website was okay, had a little stuff, and it's just improved. You're actually engaged and you're looking for the student success. Yeah, you're not in it for profit only.
Yeah, I like the way you add that only on the back end. Yeah, like only on the back end. Well, yeah, exactly. Like I'm just joking. But
the truth, I mean, I'm not saying you're doing it for the love of everybody, but your passion. And the first time I talked to you, you was not looking for the dollar sign. You was not trying to sell me something.
No, I don't
sell
care.
Me your product. You didn't really care about it. It's to me is when I talked to you for 45 minutes and that first call you called me. Yeah. You were actually the first class that actually called me. Yeah. I was looking at PMI, and that's how I found you through PMI. Yep. For simulation quizzes, because I knew I don't understand the PMP. This stupid program I bought for a couple of $100. It turned out to be the same teacher I had him for 7 years ago in 2012. So he booked me to sleep. I said,
can you imagine that? Like to teach one class and not improve over that much time? I'm not talking.
Exactly.
Like, I do think that I'm the number one most hated PMP instructor in the world. Like self-proclaimed.
Because you're succeeding.
Yeah. Because because we put the focus on you and like, like the talk, I think it's super important. And like what I'm trying to do with these conversations is lessons that people can use back in their job. Like if you look at back, like how, I think the thing that when you look back and you said like, oh, I'm a better project manager now, like you should look back on yourself and be like, not negative about the way you ran projects, be like, whoa, if I had that project now, I would have destroyed it in a good way.
That's what I talked to my boss the other day. And actually, he want me to train other PM and superintendent in our company.
Nice.
And it's not just for the PMP, the knowledge I got from this whole thing. It's like, wow, the way you're organized, the way I'm learning how to break down my structure and plan for my day. So I'm using the PMP knowledge, not just on the project, on my daily activities too.
And what I'm so excited for you about this is that I know that you're going to get so much better because you're going to be forced to fill in a lot of the gaps, because like instead of being the student and learning and pushing back and learning, you're going to be on the other side of the conversation and you're going to be laying it out. You're going to see the limitations in your understanding and like the lessons, and you're going to force them to teach you and do all these things and test your systems. And you're going to be like, okay, we're not going to hide from like our holes. We're going to go get them and fill them in.
Exactly. And that's what the first thing I always think about every day. How do we fill in the holes? How do we fix things? And the thing is, a lot of my colleagues said, why do you keep saying logical? I said, this came from Scott Payne. And they said, who's that? I said, that's all he talks about, logic. And I really didn't get it the first day I started with you. Why does he keep saying logic? What is logic? And I have to look it up in the dictionary. What is logic? And it turned out to be, it's a huge definition.
Okay.
And it's a one day, if you do it every day logically and look at the logic of the real situational questions in your real life and in your own project, it changes everything. It does. It makes you look at it in a different way. And it broadens my mind and say, oh, I know what he's talking about now. I get it. And that's how I reason. I passed the test. I no longer look at it and say, oh, it's a must thing to do, or it's a have to. I want it to be a logical way to do it. What is the logic out of this whole problems? And it made me say, look back to myself. Oh, now I understand it. It's the way we live our life. This is how logically we're going to be. That's how we're going to proceed with our life. And that's it. I learned it from you, man.
I appreciate it. Dude, that is a good way to end this thing. Cause like, once you get that logic around there, then I think what happens is it starts to pull you in a direction just to go like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go off what works, what I need
Correct.
to produce. And like, it pulls you along.
It pulls you away. Correct.
Yeah.
100%. Yes, sir.
To the thing. Whereas otherwise you're like just pushing through this wall and you're like, if things are hard, like I'm not against hard work. I like it,
Oh,
but
yes.
we got to do the right kind of hard work.
It
And
makes the hard work an easy hard work.
yeah.
That's the big difference. It's like, everything in life, it's either hard, nothing easy.
True.
But how to make a hard work easy hard. And it makes it fun. I mean, now I'm enjoying it more. I love it. Now I'm more engaged to listening to other speakers and trying to broaden my brain more. And I love it. It's really easy. And believe it or not, I'm using the same philosophy reading my LEAP exam.
Yeah.
Same way your process that you taught me in your class,
yeah.
I'm breaking it down in another stuff. So your stuff works. Other guys, it doesn't do nothing. It's really, I took them, I didn't learn nothing from them.
Yeah. That's too bad. But I mean, you got it now, dude. And I'm so excited. And heck, we can partner. I don't even know what the lead exam is, but
it's basically it's almost like PMP and does more for the environment. It's like a sustainability.
You have to take an exam at the end of it.
Oh, yeah, take an exam.
Is it hard?
Not too bad.
Do people fail it?
So, yeah.
Are there classes?
Oh, there's plenty of classes. Yeah.
All
definitely.
right, done. Like, this is what all right. So we're going to teach. This is a terrible thing because like I got books and stuff I've written and haven't launched.
Exactly.
But all right, let's next year, let's teach the lead exam. Let's get in there. Let's teach it. All right, cool.
I'm more than happy.
All right, Frank, that's it. So now the cool thing is like almost every student, we're like, how can we work together? Like we got coaches, we got people doing application stuff now. We got people working with companies. Now we're branching out into product development.
Wow,
so
that's great.
So that's good.
That's great. I'm so happy for you.
All right, Frank, thank you very much, dude. You did amazing. And this won't be the last time we're talking, obviously.
Happy to help.
Good job. Talk to you soon, dude. See ya.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.